Hello, and thank you for joining us for a few inspirational moments and loving conversation with C. Melita Webb. Today I wanted to talk to you about anxiety, depression, and mental health. Recently, I have been going through a lot of emotional reactions to family illness and friends who are having trouble with their families, and some of the things I've been aware of in the community and the world. I have this really sympathetic and empathetic side of people's trauma, and I take things, as my children say, very personally. And so I had lost a sibling recently, and with me being close to 60, my parents are in their late 80s and late 90s. And so, they've been losing family members as well. It's made me less consistent in my desires to take care of myself, and in my ability to reach out to the ones that I love that are not my immediate family. And yesterday, the struggle hit a wall. And I was missing the signs that it was coming. And since I was 16 years old, I have dealt with depression. It was when my oldest male sibling had passed, and I was a sophomore in high school. I was just 2 years from graduating. But it started a chain of events in my life that took me many years to process and get through. And I participated in mental health counseling. I had a rebellious side as a teenager, and it also led to some clashes with my parents. And so, then I became that mother who had a teenager, and I saw those similar struggles in my own children and in my friends' children. And it's been really instrumental in how I've been dealing with myself and reaching out to other people that I know are also going through challenges. So the one that I had this morning, it just felt like an emotional break. I started crying and I could not stop. And it scared me because I was already at least an hour into the process of trying to calm myself and pray and write prayers to God and essays and get some of my feelings out. And so I went back and I listened to some gospel. Gospel is one of those things that always lifts my spirit. And one of the songs I tried to play, Amazon Music wouldn't let me play. But what they did was they said they were going to give me a suggestion of a similar song that was in the catalog for the program that I'm on through Amazon. And I think the name of the group was like King and Country, and I want to say the song was Together. And initially I was getting ready to turn it off because I had not heard of them, but as I listened to this song, it made me stop and think. And it was just really beautiful. And so I'm going to go back and try to listen and see if I can find out something else about this band, where they're from, what other songs they have. But the other thing is that I listen to a lot of Kirk Franklin, and so they have this option for a gospel playlist, and that's what I chose. And I was just counting on, my praying with God. I think I woke up like at midnight. I couldn't go back to sleep, so it was about 1:30, 1:40, I started writing and praying and crying, and I was still crying at 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock in the morning, so I got in the shower and I just let the water hit my face, and I put my hands up to the top of my shower stall, and I just held onto the ceramic and I just cried. And I needed to do that in order for me to find my way through. And so, while I'll probably share with you, some of the prayer that I wrote to God and some of the poetry that I've been doing lately, I think what's most important to talk about is the state of our lives. I'm not the only one going through this deep stress and trauma and loss and grief and trying to find a way to process it. And I wrote this one line, and it just played over in my mind time after time after time. And as I was trying to recover my disposition, and so when I wrote my letter to God this morning, it was very helpful. It didn't do as much as I wanted it to, and so I felt like I needed to do more. I felt like I wasn't releasing enough of the grief, and I needed to get that out of my system because it's so unhealthy to hold on to stress and anger and unhappiness. And so that's what I was doing. I was just sitting there and I was just saying, God, I need to give this all to you. I need to let it go, and I need you to help me let it go. And so, my initial prayer was, God, dear Lord, please fix my world. And the other thing I wrote was writing prayers to God and trying to find my way. That was what I just kept writing. And I thought that it was going to come out as a poem, but I was so emotionally scattered that I couldn't get past that. And so that was when I got up and I just said, get in the shower. You always think clear. Once you get in the shower, take your problem to God and see how this is going to work out, because you have to believe in the things you tell the people around you when they're going through this stuff too. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to realize you need help. And my thought was, should I reach out to a counselor? And I was like, the only counselor I need is God, because there's nothing that man can do for me in those moments right then that God can't do for me. And I'm not saying that if you've already got a relationship with a counselor going, that you don't reach out to that person. I haven't personally used a counselor in probably close to 20 years. I'm thinking. Now I've had some great, physicians who have taken, time to talk with me through a few things, and even some great nurses, and I want to discuss that too. One of the things that one shared with me recently, but I just didn't want, I was like, you don't have time the way you're feeling right now. It's a spiral. It's like a cycle going on. And then I looked at the time and I was like, okay, this is the May, June part, which is or when my brother died. I was 16, but it was the month that his death had occurred. It was actually Mother's Day. It was in May, so that was good. Look, it's been a long time, and the stress has got my mind right about now. But I want to share this with you because I was thinking about, another situation that occurred last weekend. I think it was when a young lady was sharing some things she had went through, and she was waiting for the police in her area to help her out. And she didn't get the outcomes that she needed, nor the outcome that I feel would have ensured her safety nor the community's safety. And I was angry, and before I knew anything, I had said a word that I don't normally say, and I try not to say. I'm not saying that I don't occasionally cuss, because that would not be the truth. I try not to. Sometimes people push my buttons and I'd be like, Lord, this is just, I don't have the strength right now to deal with this. But I was trying to find a way to support this young woman and give her resources and make suggestions. And it just hit me that some of the anger I was experiencing is because of my inability to get out into the community, to make a difference, to volunteer, to help people around me. And I keep seeing this resurgence of crime, and I'm like, Lord, we need a miracle. So all these things was going through my head this morning when I realized I don't have a counselor. I tend to be who other people seek out. And what I find is that usually the things I share with them to try to make their life easier and help them walk through their trial is the very stuff I need, which is why I think my books are really relatable to the reviewers when they leave reviews. Now, a lot of people don't leave reviews, but I tend to listen to every review that I can find because I want to know what's helpful. You know, I write the books to help me get through my challenges, to help me go through the breathing problems and the anxiety from the reflex sympathetic dystrophy, and to just deal with the pain that's present in my eyes. And so, they go to the editor makes them more, relatable for everyone, and that's fine. But sometimes I have to just go back and listen to my book. And so that was one of the reasons why we put them on audio, because I knew it. I was like, these are going to be the things that carry me through, as I continue this journey. And my wonderful audio book producer, Autumn Woods, does a phenomenal job. So I just, I go to Audible, re-cue my book, and I listen to it. There's one that we haven't had recorded. There's actually a couple of new ones too, but the one that I wrote specifically for when I'm in the deepest storms is God's Guiding Light of Peace. This is also the one that I send to my friends when they experience a loss, a setback, and they hit a deep space of grief. And so I feel like I'm all over the place, but this is such a personal topic to me, and there's so many things I want to cover. And since I speak to you and I'm not writing things down, I feel a little scattered, so please forgive me. It's a very vulnerable thing for me. I think it's so important to be vulnerable because of the number of people who are in this point. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to, I don't think I've finished the shower scene, so I'm going to digress, take you back to the shower scene. So after I got through screaming into the water as it hit me on my face, I started getting clarity, and I was like, okay, God, I got it. I didn't hear words in my heart that I expected to hear or really wanted to hear. And I think sometimes that just happens because we're so stressed and our adrenaline is running so high, our emotions are so overwhelming that we don't hear the download that God gives to us. It doesn't mean it doesn't come. It just means that we're missing it. And I believe that God puts people in our lives, situations that come into our lives, and He allows things to occur to remind us that we already know how to get through. And that if we don't know how to get through, we can reach out to someone and they'll help us get through. And in my case, I got out, I dried off, I came back into my room, I wrote some more, and then I sat for a while and just closed my eyes and just tried to get things to go away. And the medication I have was not working. I had developed some panic attacks recently, and I don't even know if it's recently. I'm trying to remember the first time I had one. I was actually on an MRI table. I think it was. I was on an MRI table they were trying to identify what was causing the pain in my eyes, the swelling, and the burning after the surgery. And that was one of the most traumatic moments in my life. And, another time I was in a car and I was going to go visit my son. And we maybe got 3 blocks from the house, and I just got hot. I started feeling clammy. And I just said, I need to go back. I need to turn around. I felt sick to my stomach. And it was during the COVID, height of the beginning of it, or in the middle of it. And I was very fearful of getting out and being around people and leaving the house because of some of, like I said, the health challenges I had. So the point is, anxiety is not new to me. Stress is not new to me. Panic is not frequent to me. But the medication wasn't working today. And so, thankfully, a new person that has come into my life spoke some words into me and told me just to calm down and to, she helped me get my mind framed right so that I could get into the shower and then get to the point that I'm about to tell you about now. And that is, there's no shame. There's no shame in the emotions you feel. There's no shame in any trauma that you've had. There's no shame in how you have worked to deal with your trauma. As long as you're not bringing that trauma and drama to other people, there's no shame. And what I tell people when they call me, or they're at my home, or we're corresponding otherwise back and forth, is if someone invites you to talk to them, says they will help you, let them do that. Because if they're not interested, they're not going to offer. At least personally, I don't do that. And so while I found my way through this trauma I was experiencing, I want to just reach out and remind you that you can find your way through too. I think what's important is having things in place. Unfortunately, like I said, I did not have an existing relationship with a counselor. My gospel was my fallback. It always works. My praying. But today, like I said, it was just such a large amount of loss in my life that I was just not feeling good, and I felt like I was spiraling out, and I was like, God, I just need you right now. And so I wanted to share a couple of poems with you that I had written recently. And I also wanted to share, I'm not sure how long my prayer was, but I want to share a couple of thoughts with you. And the first one is what I was just saying, writing prayers to God and trying to find my way. And so I said, what are you doing? And my response was, I am trying to hold on. And I thought, what am I trying to hold on to? And I was thinking my parents, my mind, my life, my family, right? And the way of life I thought I would have at this age. And what I heard in my heart was, those are finite and temporary. You have clearly lost your way. Your time that's past is lost. Clear your plate. Balance your life and focus your view. That is how you bring your mind back to you. And then I said, I thought you, my God, would bring my mind back to you. And I heard that your mind hasn't went anywhere. It's your focus. It's way out there. If I rescue you, you will not learn a thing. You'll repeat this pain unless you find a way to balance and maintain. Why would I throw you another lifeline? Is that how you teach your children and prepare them? And I thought, no, that's not how I taught my children or prepared them. For a while, I was kind of doing some coddling, and there are people in my life that I still just love on, and sometimes I have to, they'll say, okay, you're holding me too tight. And so I'm trying to understand that too. But the point is, God has given us everything we need inside of us already. He's spoken His word into our heart through the Bible. We have access to the Bible. We have the gospel, spiritual songs that He has given to artists. We have what we know to be in truth in our faith, and we must stand strong. And I wanted to remind you that you can stand strong. Even if you think you're hitting a wall like me, it's okay. It's okay to say I need help. It's okay to reach out to those you love. It's okay to do like I do and like I did and have a good cry. It's okay. The key is to get through the pain, to live another day, to trust that God will help us come through and to another side, another way, and that this is not how life is meant to be. And so I returned to a group of friends that I hadn't talked to in quite a while, and we write poetry and we encourage one another. And it dawned on me that that was another way God was answering, the stress in my life, was bringing me back into something that allows me to write, to mentor and love on other people. And so while my thoughts to you today are somewhat jumbled and unclear, my intentions are true, and that is to bring love to you. So bear with me. I've been trying to memorize more of my poetry as I write it, so that I don't have to use my eyes to try to see it. And I want to read Reflections. Reflections I Can Sit In is the prompt that was given, and here is my thought. Reflections I can sit in, looking back in time, running through my mind, reminiscing on yesterday, when I had time to laugh, run, and play. That was before bills, marriage, kids, and people being ill. Now I search day by day, wishing I knew half of what I thought I knew before the pain, middle age, and time runs rampant and I can't catch up. Sleep escapes me, inflation taunts me. Still I need to know if this is my reality. Is this a reflection that I can live in? Because every day mortal man creates a new sin. Children are crying and I don't see a dry eye. People are so lost that they drugged up and can't stand straight to see the sky. So numb they don't know why. Souls wandering, ducking the drive-bys, rewinding the crimes and then multiplying. Meanwhile, the old and the young are both dying. Loved ones seeking reflections, wishing they had ones to sit in. Loved ones seeking the reflections and wishing they had ones to sit in. And that made me think of the people that I had lost. And I would love to be in their reflection right now, but it's not possible. So I, like you, struggle and try to find my way through. And part of the way I do that is by writing. So the other poem I want to leave with you is the one I wrote for my brother when he passed. And it was called Hanging in Grief. And he passed on April 15th, which was kind of interesting. And I wrote it around that time frame, maybe around the, I want to say maybe a day or two after. And, but I didn't have a place for it because I didn't want to make anybody depressed or upset. And so that's why I had been holding back. But I shared this with a group of friends, and the reactions varied. It helped others release some of their pain, and some hope it'll do the same for you. And this is, I've been hanging in grief. I've been hanging in grief like one might hang in midair. My mind pictures a mime with his arms crooked by a failed puppeteer. Move, I want to scream at grief. Move, move, move away from me. And then I feel the grossness of pain, the hatred of evil, the meanness of racism, and a loss in my heart that I cannot name. So I and my body now hang in grief. And so, as I sat in the pain of the moment of losing one of my older brothers, I started thinking about all the things that I hated about death, that I hated about fighting life. And that was the pain, the way people hate one another, and the meanness people feel towards each other. And those were what helped me get through the day. So, I want to encourage you and let you know that I'm thinking of you, even if I haven't reached out lately. I just have a lot on my plate right now. And so I'm finding that I am not always accomplishing what I want to do. But I do want to speak my heart into you today and encourage you in case you're going through something like what I'm dealing with. I love you. I lift you in prayer. I am trying to find some more help so that I can get some more things posted for you on our Facebook page as well. And we love you, and we hope that you and your family are doing better and having better days. I'm going to wish you a beautiful morning, a wonderful afternoon, and a blessed evening of peace. Wherever you are right now, and whatever you're going through, trust that you will get through. God will speak to you, through you, and into others to help you through. You always call on God's name, lift up a prayer, and pray and trust that you'll make it through another day. All right? We love you. Be well.